This is Listen Lakeland, the show that keeps you up to date on all the things that make our city a great place to live, work, and play. Today's host built her career in communications and public relations after graduating from Florida Southern College. As the president and CEO of the Lakeland Chamber of Commerce, she's charged with making Lakeland a place where business can prosper through advocacy, professional development, and education. She is on the boards of Polk Vision, Polk Arts Alliance, and Lakeland Vision. Please welcome your host, Amy Wiggins.
Welcome to the good life.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Amy Wiggins. I'm thrilled to be one of the board members for Lakeland Vision, which means that I have the joy of participating in the Listen Lakeland radio show. We're here today to talk about things that are important to Lakelanders and how they relate to the vision that you all have shared with us through our series of surveys. I think you have hopefully heard it enough by now that we focus on strong and safe neighborhoods, jobs for a vibrant economy, activities for a diverse community, and focus on lifelong education. And so to help me tell you a little bit more about what's happening in our community, I am joined by two of my favorite Lakeland Electric employees today, Cindy Clemens and Corey Bush. Thank you so much for being here to tell us a little bit about what's happening with our municipal electric utility here in Lakeland.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we were kind of talking a little bit beforehand. And first, I should probably give you the opportunity to introduce yourself and tell us what you do for Lakeland Electric. So Cindy, why don't you start?
Okay, sure. So my name is Cindy Clemens, and I am the manager of legislative and regulatory relations. So government affairs. I get to deal with all of our great legislators at the state level, the federal level, and of course, our beloved city commission.
Yes, definitely. Well, we're glad that you are here and that you are making those things happen. That tends to be, that policy aspect, I think, tends to confuse a lot of folks. So it's nice to have somebody that is focusing on that and well-versed in it. And I've known you for a long time,
Yes.
and I know that you are my go-to when there's something policy-related that I don't understand.
Thank you. That's a nice compliment from you.
It's the truth. Absolutely. Well, and Corey, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Corey Bush. I am currently the AGM of customer service at Lakeland Electric. I believe the beginning of April, completed my 20th year of employment here. So I started out.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Started out as a lineman apprentice with the utility many years ago, and kind of worked my way up through operations. I was a lineman, a foreman. Got into our control center operations, managed that group for a spell, and have progressed through the utility up to my current role. We had my predecessor retired last year. It's industry wide. We're going through a lot of the more seasoned employees moving
Absolutely.
out, same as the private sector. But opportunity came up to kind of get into the customer service atmosphere, which is a third of our business.
Sure.
And got completely out of my sandbox. Took this challenge on, but it's been quite a rewarding position to help guide this utility through. So
well, and I think we all, as customers ourselves, right? Everyone is a customer. We recognize and kind of sometimes feel like we miss the importance of customer service. And I know that Lakeland Electric certainly puts an emphasis on making sure that the customer is treated kindly and respectfully. So we appreciate that.
we absolutely do. It was, part of my pitch during the job interview was I feel like I've been in customer service since
Sure.
I started here at the utility, because we value the folks that we work for, and that's the ratepayers of this community. So
Definitely. Well, knowing that it's June,
Yes.
And knowing that all we've been hearing about is hurricane season, and we've got a few days left, I think, of the tax-free preparedness. So tell us a little bit about what do we need to know about being prepared for hurricane season as it relates to, well, just in general, I would imagine, what are some good tips and reminders?
So but from the utility level, we prep pretty much year round for this.
Sure.
This ramp up. Hurricane Ian had a huge impact on our utility on our coverage area last September, and as soon as we get through that, the shock and the restoration, we immediately get back to work on what we can improve on. So from a utility standpoint, we're meeting. We've got improvement plans in place. We're stocking up on transformers, poles, getting up, ramping up into this June 1st deadline at the beginning of the season. We're got our our EOPs in place. Revamping. Cindy, feel free to jump in here at any time, whenever you want to interject. But it's a process. It's one of the many hats we all wear at the utility, where we have to collectively come together to make sure we are dotting I's and crossing T's, getting ready for the possible impact for everybody, not personally and for the utility. So.
Well, exactly. But that's an important distinction, I think. That sometimes I feel like I need to say the obvious because we forget. People who work for Lakeland Electric are also customers of Lakeland Electric.
Exactly. Yes.
So it's an important thing for me to continue to say that, especially sometimes in my own head.
Yes.
I think we've all been in that space.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, because as you were talking about having 20 years in the business and specifically here at LE, I would imagine that technology has made some pretty significant strides in that time. And I'm curious how that number two, I guess, relates into the customer service side of things. But number one, what technology has been implemented or what's new that helps you in that emergency preparedness?
That's a great question. We've progressed naturally, the same as any other industry, into a lot more tools. We've built customer-facing information tools that in themselves create their own set of problems we ran into, and we realized we are now putting out more information to our customers at a much faster pace than we ever did. Our last event was 2017 with Hurricane Irma.
Right.
We have a storm center map that is on our LakelandElectric.com website. It's up 24/7. So even an afternoon thunderstorm, our customers can go to that. They can see the outages that are in their areas. We've got tons of information we push out to our customers through text messages, through emails, whether it's your day-to-day billing. If you are experiencing a power outage, we can send that out to you through a text message. So that in itself, the amount of information we have going out prompts people to dig a little more and ask more questions. So that was part of our strategy. How do we get ahead of some of that messaging going into the new storm season? But the information we have about ETRs and outages, and like I said, even down to your bill due date is more than we've ever had. And I'm glad to be a part of that. It's beneficial, especially during storms. People want information. They want, even if it's going to be 3-4 days. They just want to know. I'm
guessing ETR is estimated time of recovery.
At restoration.
Restoration.
Yes,
okay.
I'm sorry.
I was close.
No, you were.
That's okay.
That was very good and good catch there. I'll speak in my own language sometimes.
I understand.
But yes, estimated time of restoration, which is what everybody's hoping for.
Right. Everybody really needs that information.
Exactly. So we've made great strides working in pushing that information out to our customers proactively.
We had every year we go through and do it's an emergency operation plan, and it's pretty thick, and we do diligence every year and go through it. And between Irma and Ian, we added 7 to 8 different facing, softwares that were for employee-facing software. And we were like, wait, how many do we have? We have 8. Okay, do we have 8 different passwords?
Oh, wow.
8 different training sessions. Who needs it? Who doesn't need it? Because we have, all of our employees have a special role, so we have to go in and figure out, okay, well, we need all these people that do this special role during the storm have to get trained on this software. And so we had, like Corey was saying, we advanced and we had so many more ways to communicate and track on what we're doing. But at the same time, it was creating like this whole other stream of work that we were like, oh, wait, we need to get up on this. So we've spent the last year focusing on that software, making sure, and now we have it like, make sure you have your password at the beginning of storm season. And even if you have 8 different passwords, have them written down or memorized very well, because you're going to be in there as soon as the storm hits, using all of these, not customer facing, but employee facing softwares.
That's a really good reminder for everyone to just make sure. I think we all have been in that space where the technology that's available to us has been beneficial and also created new, not problems, but new need for structure. Mm-hmm. And so I think opportunities for improvement. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, just kind of reminding everyone, even at home, that we're, as we get into this space, do have your passwords memorized mm-hmm. really, really well, or in a secure place so that you can log in even from your devices that you might not normally log in from, because the ones that you do have lost their batteries or whatever it might be. So that's, wow, that's really kind of overwhelming to think about. Tell me how many customers Lakeland Electric serves.
So right now we have, we're close to 140,000. So
okay.
we've experienced a large amount of growth probably the past 4 years. 2020 was like a year we hadn't seen in a long time, just a huge population explosion. And it has just continued, and we're still experiencing it now with the build outs and the businesses that folks like your organization are attempting to attract and bring to Lakeland, because it is a great place to work and live. So about 140,000 now.
Wow.
Meters.
So Cindy, I'm going to look at you and ask you to give us the kind of, just for folks that may not have lived in Lakeland for a long time, or are relatively new, or even some of us that have been here a while and might need a little bit of a refresher on how Lakeland Electric is governed and what it means to be a municipally owned utility.
Sure. So we're coming up on almost 125 years of ownership by the city of Lakeland. And what that means is our customers own us. Right. They own the electric utility, and the money that we make goes right back into the community. So that's why we have, really great city services, mm-hmm. and the city has the infrastructure that it needs. It has the safety services from police and fire. I mean, we don't fund all of it, but we fund a large portion of it.
Right.
And that is the reason why a municipal utility exists, is to fund the city and make it a vibrant place to live. That is the whole reason for existence for a municipal utility.
Right. And just from a coming back to a little bit of our vision to help our residents here in Lakeland kind of understand that inner workings of government, what that means is that the City Commission has a role in making decisions, and we also have an electric utility advisory committee. Or
correct. So if we were independently owned, mm-hmm. okay, so traded on the New York Stock Exchange, right. And my money would go to people who own stock, mm-hmm. And I would report to Tallahassee to a very specific utility board that is, covered by people who are appointed by the governor.
Right.
What we have here is we have the City Commission, and then we also have 6 appointed members of the Utility Committee. And that group is the entity that makes decisions and drives policy for the utility.
Right.
So it's local. Everyone who serves on it has a very local perspective. We find that the more local the government, the better for the community. Mm-hmm. And so the decisions are being made right here. And there's an opportunity for anyone in our service territory to come and express their concerns. We have representation outside the city limits, mm-hmm. Because about 60% of our population, of our customer base, is outside the city limits, but we still have people on our utility committee who represent that, that group.
Yeah.
So
thank you. I appreciate that. I think sometimes even for those of us that are kind of in the inner workings on a daily basis, it's nice to have that little bit of a reminder, and especially for folks who just, their main interaction with Lakeland Electric is just the monthly utility bill. So it's nice to be able to say that. So I know, Corey, because your experience and expertise is right now in the customer service space, is there anything you want to brag about the customer service advancements or technology, something that folks can look forward to as they interact with customer service here?
Sure. I think Friday was my 1-year anniversary of accepting this position. So I'm excited. We've got a mindset. We have to balance both the customer's needs between self-service and the want of the customer to reach out and contact somebody. I don't feel like we'll ever get away from that.
Sure.
Especially, Lakeland I was born and raised here. It's the homegrown feel that we all love.
Definitely.
And attracts us and keeps us here. So when you have an issue, you want to be able to get somebody on the other end of the line. So we have to balance both the call center and then the self-service piece where folks just want to have the 2-minute interaction with an application to pay their bill or to, report a street light out. So we're working on a lot of automation at that level to balance that. I'm happy to say I watched a pretty informative demo a couple of weeks ago of an application we're pursuing to roll out to facilitate a lot of those needs where you can pay in various different ways. Also, the street light outage reporting, we call it Incident Watch. Stay tuned, that's coming as well. A lot of really streamlined processes outside the normal, business difficulties we all have. If you're making a payment arrangement or if you need to request some specific services, we got to have those in place. We have rolled out a ton of different ways to pay your bill. We have found that the digital wallet is here.
Yes.
That it's popular and even in our, some of our more elderly communities, they have grasped it. They love the Apple Pay, the Venmo, the PayPal.
Okay.
Right. So we're seeing those numbers rise. Our goal is to give you as many different options to pay your bill that is most convenient to you. The most recent undergoing we took was a retail cash payment program. We've had kiosks in the service territory since about 2015. We're trying to phase those out for many different reasons. So we've partnered with Kuber is one of our bigger vendors. There's, I think, 60,000 retail outlets across the nation between Walgreens and CVS, where those customers who want to pay their bill with cash can go there, scan their QR code or their barcode on their bill and pay their bill right there. And it instantly credits their account.
Oh, wow.
So we're working hard to put as diverse payments as people want out there with as much information as they request. That's kind of a challenge.
Sure.
When we're judging, where we want to be in 5 years, because you don't want to put all your eggs in this digital disconnected feel. We want to have that. We want to have our customers feel like, hey, Lakeland Electric is there to listen to us if we do need them. So
I think that's so important. I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, I can think of times that I have actually spent more time trying to find a digital solution to a problem than when I could have made 3 or 4 customer service phone calls at the time that I've done that. So we do get programmed into that. But it is nice to know that here, Lakeland Electric, again, to your point earlier, is our utility, and it is here to serve us and to make our city great. So that's really nice to hear. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. We it's probably not the most highly rated interaction people have monthly, but it is a vital to our life and to our freedom to have that light switch come on, and we're affordable and dependable and sustainable. That's our moniker that we're going by, and we stick to it. We want to be your hometown utility that is here for you. So
I want to talk just a little bit about jobs, because I know that is critically important to our community. How many employees does Lakeland Electric have right now?
Currently, we're at about 370 total. Our TO is a little over 400. We've got several openings. Yes, and I've got several openings in my department. So,
so just kind of run down for me really quickly, how many different types of jobs are there here at Lakeland Electric?
We have, if you want to work in the field, we have lineman apprentice jobs that have been pretty popular. We get a lot of applications for those. I think they'll cut it off at about 120, and it cuts off every time. And those will come open a couple times a year, trying to keep the field crews staffed with qualified line workers.
Sure.
And it's a great trade.
Absolutely.
We put them through a 4-year apprenticeship.
Wow.
When they are done, I'll put them up against any line worker around. We do a great job here at the utility, training from start to finish to get folks right off the streets that want to dedicate themselves to learn a trade that's got a good wage, and it's a good sustainable job that's going to be around for a long time. We have that all the way to engineers, to call center reps, to I'm interviewing for a manager position in my department right now, which is more the business side and billing and collections and the energy industry. We've got, help me think, Cindy.
Well, we also have a lot of programs with the high schools and the trade schools. And we have some positions open right now for, high school students to come in and work side by side with us.
Wow.
And those are actually, I looked last week, there's, I think 2 or 3 still posted. Yeah. They're utility worker. I think we need a solar coordinator to help with all the solar that's been put on everyone's roof.
Right.
So there's so that we have opportunities for even high school.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We partner with Tenor Rock High School and the Power Academy. We look for jobs for those that are wanting to not necessarily, maybe pursue a job in the electric industry, but at least they can maybe find their niche right out of high school and kind of gear them towards a career that parallels ours. And then a ton of high school or college internships as well.
Sure.
My college intern is here right now.
I know. Well, and I should say for those listening, the reason that I do kind of keep finding myself saying right here at Lakeland Electric is because we're very fortunate that this show is a partnership with the City of Lakeland and Hall Communications Big 4 Radio Group. And so Lakeland Electric donates a conference room to us once a month to record. Problem. So we're glad to be here and to have this beautiful view behind us for those who can see on video. You said sustainability in terms of the job market and keeping a sustainable flow of employees, but can we talk a little bit about sustainability in energy delivery and what that means for the citizens of Lakeland?
Absolutely. We've taken a lot of great strides. Many of you know we imploded our MAC 3 coal burning unit this year. Interesting, made for some really good video, and
it did.
And
that was I was there, and that was a sound like I have never felt before because it literally rattled my bones. And it was like
it has been a staple in the community. I remember driving by it growing up. My father-in-law retired from there. I mean, everybody understands, when you talk about the coal burning unit in Lakeland, Florida, they know what you're talking about. So the landscape has changed from the implosion, and we've got new generation that we hope to be online this time next year. Natural gas burning units, 6 20 megawatt units to replace the MAC 3 unit, and it's all about being more efficient and streamlining and getting more in line. These are going to be natural gas, which is obviously cleaner than the coal, and then really. Kind of being a counterweight to the solar influx. We drive everywhere and we see these pastures that we've drove by for years and years and years, and now there's solar panels everywhere. Right. So there's a need for quick online generation, which this is going to help offset some of that solar footprint that we've seen come across the state, and then working with our residents and helping them develop their own solar program. We've seen an uptick in the rooftop solar, and those folks are coming to your house and they're trying to sell you these solar packages for your house. We want you to reach out to us and let's partner together. We are 100% in support of solar.
Sure.
And any way we can do to help you walk through that, we want to be here for you. So we've got some things working behind the scenes with some new job opportunities and how we structure some of our internal communications and helping our customers walk through the solar journey, because it's a big investment. I mean, we all know that.
Oh, absolutely.
And we want to make sure that the customer knows what to expect from the utility and vice versa, outside of what a salesperson's telling them. So
right. Well, and so do you have someone here in in Lakeland Electric's office that's kind of a solar liaison? Is that?
Yeah, we have a solar team. We have a manager that does emerging technology.
Okay.
And
That's got to be a really cool job.
yeah. Well, Scott is Scott Bishop, and he just actually got promoted. So now he's the assistant general manager for energy delivery.
Okay.
So, but he's still kind of doing both roles, and yeah, I mean, they're looking at solar, hydrogen, carbon capture is another topic that keeps coming up a lot.
Yeah.
One of the things about the new engines that we're buying to replace the coal, they have the capacity to burn hydrogen.
Wow.
So we're starting to, these things that we thought were maybe more experimental, we're starting to see are really coming to fruition. So we're excited to see what's going to happen. Yeah.
It's a little intimidating, I would think, to think about, because you're not just talking maybe 5 years in the future, you're talking
pretty soon. I mean, we're going to start seeing movement soon. I think, with a lot of the regulations coming down from the federal government, we're going to see some really interesting situations where we're going to have to be more aggressive about our next round of energy generation. Like, what are we going to do? Because right now we're looking at some new regulations that just came out about a week ago, and it could impact us, and we might have to be looking at new generation within 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
So whereas before we thought, okay, we have a little bit longer to maybe 15, 20 years. And so if these regulations pass, which, you have to remember federal regulations, it'll go to court. It'll be in the Supreme Court. It'll get kicked back, and then they'll come around with another round. So we'll see. I mean, things can change, but when those, the regulations came out a week or two ago, we were all like, oh my gosh, this is things are really happening. Yeah. Like, it's not just something you're reading about or watching in a movie.
Yeah, some of the things we all talked about in passing maybe 5 years ago, being many, many years down the road, and they're literally creeping up on our doorstep.
Yes.
And that's what excites me about this industry. You can be as creative and engaged and out of the box in your thinking as you need to be, and it's really satisfying to be on the cusp of some of those things that Cindy's talking about. It is scary. You did mention it. It's intimidating a little bit because it's uncharted for us, but we've got good leadership, good guidance to help make those decisions. So.
And I think another thing that's important is that the federal government has an incredible amount of money through grants and loans, tax credits, which we're eligible for. We've never been eligible for tax credit because we're tax exempt. But under some new federal laws, we have the ability, if we build a solar farm, we can get tax credits for it now.
Wow. Okay.
Which is huge. I mean, so it almost helps, justify, the expense because we're going to get a return. So I would say that is driving. I've been working on that for how long, Corey? 2 years?
Yes.
Wow.
2 years we've been working on, tracking the dollars and finding out where we can get them and how we can apply them. And I think that is going to help a lot.
This is one of my the favorite parts of my job is that I get to learn so much about everything that's going on in the community and all the layers that go into something that we take for granted, right? Just flipping on a light switch or plugging in to charge our phones. There's so many folks who are behind that and making sure that we're keeping up with everything that needs to be kept up with. So as we kind of reach the end of our time here, do you want to tell us how to get in touch with Lakeland Electric if we need to, and how to stay connected?
Yeah, I want to thank you for the opportunity. Yes. I mean, we jump at these times where we can sit down with an audience and really try to connect as humans, as ratepayers ourselves, and kind of let them know outside of what they see outside their monthly bill that we're trying to do, and
great point.
That we all work incredibly hard to keep their rates low and their reliability high. So we can be reached at lakelandelectric.com.
Yep.
There's multiple ways there. All of our social media, mylakelandelectric.com, or our Facebook's My Lakeland Electric.
Right,
Twitter, you can reach us, our customer service line, 863-834-9535.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we love feedback. We listen.
Yes.
Yes. We're not ignoring you. So it's really good. So thanks for having us.
I appreciate y'all coming and sitting down with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks to everybody for listening as well. Just a reminder that Listen Lakeland is brought to you by Lakeland Vision, the City of Lakeland, and Hall Communications Radio Group. Please share your feedback with us. Take our survey at lakelandvision.org, and we'll see you next time.
Listen Lakeland is brought to you as a collaborative project between Lakeland Vision, the City of Lakeland, and Hall Communications, a community working together to provide an exceptional quality of life. Thank you for being with us.